Good morning, everyone. We'll just wait for a few more seconds for today's interactive, informative webinar that we have set for you for today in Email Marketing 101. My name is Jesus Padilla. I'm the Assistant Director here at the Florida SBDC at FIU. And if you have any questions, feel free to put it in the Q&A, as I'm more than happy to moderate your questions for you. So that throughout today's presentation, either myself, Emily, or my colleague Mateo will be more than happy to answer those questions for you. Just some general housekeeping items. This is a recorded webinar. So in case if you have to step out, answer a phone call, get a second cup of coffee, don't worry. All participants will be receiving today's presentation along with the recording of today's webinar. Next slide. Who we are a team of specialized business consultants to assist you at no cost, as we were the 2023 National SBDC of the Year. We received funds from the SBA as a resource partner to help you, the small business owners here in Miami-Dade and Monroe County. Since 2022, we have worked with over 8,000 small businesses that has resulted over 120,000 hours of consulting. What is BizGap? It is, we have launched this initiative since 2016, as we have done multiple projects throughout the community, targeting commercial corridors and targeted communities in hyperlocal consulting, training, and outreach to small businesses. The overall goal is to provide an additional tool in the toolkit for communities that are better to assist their businesses in startup and also business growth. Some of the outcomes that we have done based on the partnerships through the multiple communities, we have actually canvassed, gone door to door, met with small businesses in those targeted commercial corridors, over 300 businesses, to understand the pain points, introduce them to resource partners, colleagues to better assist them, along with over 300 businesses have attended workshops or received consulting. The BizGap project in Florida Congressional District 27 is funded by a grant by the U.S. Small Business Administration. Florida's 27th Congressional District covers City of Miami, Key Biscayne, Coral Gables, and runs down to Kendall and Cutler Bay. The overall objectives, it is to work on the three key pillars: the training, the outreach, the door-to-door canvassing, the one-on-one business consulting, along with the data mapping and surveys for small businesses. And our goal for this year is to work with you, over 1,000 businesses, in trainings and consulting. So allow me to introduce you to our colleague and business consultant and today's presenter, Emily Darmas, that will be going ahead and present in Email Marketing 101. But before I do so, I would like to meet every single one of you on how we can assist you. Introduce yourself, what business, what industry, what are some of your email marketing strategies? Have you done what worked, what doesn't work? As we have a good engaged audience, but at the same time, I want to have the conversation with Emily, with yourself, as different tips, as the overall goal is to have a few aha moments. So Emily, the floor is yours.
All right. Hi, everybody. Thank you for being here. Today, we're going to talk about Email Marketing 101. We're going to talk about how to build, engage, and profit from your email list. We're going to be covering why email works, why you should be focused on building your list, what to do to engage your audience, and we'll go over the anatomy of a basic email so you have an idea of what you should be writing. So email is great. It's something that a lot of business owners don't tend to focus on initially. People tend to focus on social media because social media is the shiny tool. It sort of seems easier than email in some ways. But social media is like shouting in a crowded room at a party. There's a lot of people, a lot of noise. There's a lot of stuff going on. Whereas email is more of like a one-on-one conversation with somebody, and ideally with the customer or the client that you are trying to reach and work with. With email, you have the opportunity to create an actual bond with a potential customer. You can become an advisor to that customer. You can become a trusted resource to that customer. Most businesses focus on social media, but email, in fact, will get you a much higher ROI. And we see a lot these days, when it comes to email, people will say, oh, is email marketing dead? Email marketing doesn't work, blah, blah, blah. I think that's a bunch of nonsense. And I think that if you do it right and if you focus on email marketing, you can actually sell very easily through email. Whereas with social media, it takes a little bit more effort. It takes a little more, usually money, let's be honest, to get your messaging out there, because the social media platforms are designed to extract that from you. They're designed for you as a business owner to have to pay to play, basically, and either boost posts or give them money so that you get more reach. With email, it's not really like that. The email platform is going to deliver your content, whether or not you are, paying, so to speak, right? You might have to pay for the email platform itself, but if you have 1,000 people on your list, the email is going to go out to 1,000 people. There's no restriction on that. Whereas on social media, you might have, let's say, 1,000 followers, but not all 1,000 of them are going to see all of your posts. For every dollar that you spend on email, the average ROI is $42, meaning for every dollar that you invest in email, you have the potential to get $42 back. This is an average, right? Taking across industries, it's going to depend on your specific business, so don't get too excited, but that's a pretty great ROI when you consider the fact that I work with a lot of businesses who sink a lot of money into social media and don't get anything back from it. They are looking for customers, they're looking for potential clients, they put money into social media and maybe it boosts things for a little bit, but they're not really seeing that traction that they're looking for. And though people do spend a lot of time on social media, people also check their emails, right? 94% of people check their email every single day. Chances are that you at some point have bought something because you received an email, something that you were not planning on buying, but you got an email with a discount code or a reminder or something, and you decided to make the decision based on that email. So the first question is, how do we get people onto an email list? So you need to have an email provider first and foremost. There are a lot of different email providers that you can choose from these days. MailChimp is probably the most popular. It's free up until a certain point, and then you have to start paying. I'm more of a fan personally of Flowdesk, MailerLite, ActiveCampaign. These are some other options for you. You do have to pay, but what I like about them is that there are a lot of different features and things that you can eventually use. MailChimp, for me personally, is not the most easy to use. I don't find it very intuitive. I find it kind of confusing. That's not to say that it's not a good platform. It really depends. Maybe for you, you get it, you click with it, you drive with it, great, good for you. You have to choose something that is easy for you to use, that fits within your, business budget, and that can ultimately help grow with you. And we'll talk a little bit more about, what that means, especially if you sign up with a one-on-one consultation with me. We can actually dive into your business and we can look at what might make sense for you. So you need to have an actual email platform. That's first and foremost. The second thing you need to do is give them a reason to join, right? People these days they don't want to get spammed via the email. They don't want to receive tons and tons of emails from you. People do get a lot of emails. Most people are trying to maintain a sense of control over their inbox. They don't want to get a bunch of stuff that they're like, I don't even know what this is. So you want to give them a reason to sign up for that email, right? You want to give them a reason to hand over their email to you. You can do that in different ways. The most basic way to do that is either through a coupon code or a discount, which I'm sure we're all familiar with. We'll look at some examples, or a freebie, or what we call in marketing terms, a lead magnet. Okay, that is supposed to be a magnet that attracts leads to you, that attracts potential clients to you. So if you have a service-based business, I think you should lean towards a lead magnet. If you are e-commerce, then a coupon code might be better for you. And we'll talk about what those could potentially look like. So what would be a lead magnet? Okay. A lead magnet is pretty much anything that will get them onto your email list that also is related to your business and the problem that you're solving in your business, right? Your lead magnet should directly tie into what it is that you do. What are your services? What are you offering people? What do you want them to buy? Otherwise, it's kind of a nice to have, but it's not going to lead you to clients, right? And that's ultimately what we want to do here. We want people to sign up to the list because we want them to eventually turn into customers. We don't want them just sitting on our list doing nothing forever. That's not a valuable email address to have on your list. So some examples of lead magnets are PDFs, that's pretty much the number one way that people do lead magnets. It's like a quick little download. That PDF can be a variety of different things, but it should be something that they actually want. It can be a shopping list. It can be a template, right? Oh, I want a template for budgeting, for example, or I want a template for how I should lay out my website, or I want free Canva templates or something like that. So you're giving them something for free, something that they would value in exchange for that email. I've also seen people do either a webinar, so they may be like this webinar exactly that you're on right now. If we recorded this and then we used this kind of as bait, as a lead magnet, we could promote the fact that we have this webinar or any of the other ones that we do through BizGap and SBDC, and have people sign up to receive the link to the recorded webinar. You could do something similar in a quick workshop, or if you're doing a how-to, something that is informational and something that's useful to them. It could be a private link to a video tutorial. It could be a 3-day challenge. It could be a checklist. Let's say you're a travel agent. It could be, you know, my top recommendations for this city, or it could be a city guide, or it could be a checklist of what to pack for a European vacation. It can be an ebook. Maybe that's a little bit longer. It has more information in it. A resource guide, a step-by-step, a recipe, for example, a free kind of workout schedule. You can get very creative with this, and how you do that in your specific business is going to depend again on what it is that you're selling. Because I like to work backwards, and I like to think, okay, where do we ultimately want them to go? How do we kind of bake that in from the beginning, instead of creating something that's really nice and cool, but maybe doesn't relate to your services or whatever you're offering. And then they're like, okay, that's a harder sell in the end when you're trying to actually get them to buy from you.
And Emily, before I cut you off for a second,
Sure.
on the previous slides in regards of some of the email platforms like MailChimp and Constant
Right.
Contact,
Mhm.
do these services provide email addresses as well?
You mean like the actual email that you're sending it from?
I would assume so. I
Yeah.
got that question from the Q&A. So
Oh, yes. So usually that's something that you're going to set up with your domain. So, that is not necessarily something that comes through the email platforms. Sometimes it can, but that's usually something that you're going to set up with, like, if your domain is GoDaddy, for example. Or in my case, I use Google Suite, and so that's what I have linked to my Flowdesk, and that's how those emails go out. So usually that email has to come from somewhere else. It's going to depend, and we can look at your specific situation to see how that would play out for you.
thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Those are all technical questions. I think the technical questions are valid, and we'll get to them, and we'll talk about those too. The tech stuff is kind of hard to do on this webinar because it's going to be really specific to your situation, right? But I want you to think about the email from that bigger perspective. The tech stuff, like, everything's figure outable, right? Like, no matter what the tech situation is, we can figure it out, and we can help you set that up. Okay. So how are we going to get people on your list? You want to be actively building your list. So various ways to do that is to add a pop-up or a sign-up form to your website. Most of this actually does go through the email platform. So they'll have a template for you to create a pop-up. You can create what's called an inline pop-up or an inline sign-up form, where it's not a pop-up, but it's just there kind of consistently on your website. So you want to make sure that you're giving people a way to give you their emails if you want to email them. So pop-up is the easiest way to do that on the website. If you're in person, let's say you're selling your product at a market or a fair, you're going to want to have some kind of a sign-up sheet, or even as in your order form, collect their email addresses so that you have them. You can create a QR code with a sign up to the email for email. If you are talking to people on social media, you can ask them, hey, do you mind if I add you to my email list? If you're having a conversation with somebody. If you're networking, if you're giving out your business cards, if they're giving you their business cards, those could be potential leads for you. Add them to your list. Okay. This is an example of a pop-up. We have all seen this. You go to the website, you get the little pop-up, hey, get 15% off, get 10% off, get whatever percentage off if you sign up for email. For e-commerce, this is pretty much standard across the board. Pretty simple to do. Again, you do this through your email provider, and you would get this pop-up. But there's some other ways, because I'm a fan of giving people multiple avenues. So we don't want to just do it in one way. So pop-up, yes, that's one way. You're going to want to have a pop-up. But if you look at these little red arrows up at the top here, this is a food blogger. And at the top, she has this little green banner, and it says, receive my best foolproof bread recipe via email. So when you click on that, it actually takes you to a little form to fill out your email. And then here on her website, as you're scrolling through the recipes, there's this little box. This is what I mean by the inline form. Again, this is through your email provider. This says Pizza Perfect, 7 secrets to mastering pizza at home. Okay. And then you would put in your first name, your email address, click this little button, boom, you're on her email list. So she's giving you 2 different ways to sign up for her email, all on her website, all within the same view. And she's actually promoting 2 separate things, right? This is the bread recipe and this is the pizza. So you want to give people multiple avenues to sign up. So it should be on your website in multiple places, in pop-ups, but also in this style of content as well, where you see the banner or you see this inline. So to recap this little section, the first thing you want to make sure is that you have an email provider, that you've set that up, that you have that, everything verified and ready to go so that you can actually send emails. You want to create an actual lead magnet. We're going to get a little bit more into that. You're going to want to work backwards based on what it is that you're selling to create that lead magnet. You're going to want to give them something in exchange for the email, make sure that you're providing value. And then you want to be collecting emails whenever possible so that you're growing your list on a consistent basis. So this is the part that I think comes in, which is great. You have the email. Now what do I do with it? What do I tell them? How do I make these people just go from people into potential customers or clients? You are going to use your email to sell, because you're not setting up an email to have pen pals. Pen pals are nice, but really there's a lot of effort just to have pen pals. These are people that you want to turn into clients and you want to turn into customers. So we have to think about what is the value that we're providing and what it is that they're looking for, right? In any interaction, this applies for email, but it also applies across the board for marketing. Your prospect or your potential customer has a goal in life, has a problem, and your business is solving that problem in some way. Not all problems are life-threatening or really intense, right? There's different levels of urgency when we think about problems. The problem could be, I need more shoes in my closet. I got a problem. I don't have the right shoes for this outfit. That's my problem. Okay. That is a very frivolous, silly kind of a problem, but it is a quote unquote problem nonetheless that we are going to refer to as that in marketing land. Okay. Your job from a business standpoint is to help them see that, hey, I have what you need. I'm here. I have whatever it is that is ailing you. I have the remedy for that. I have the solution for that, right? Your job then is to help them mentally understand that and mentally accept, oh, okay, this business has what it is that I'm looking for. Now, that sounds like it's really complicated. It's not that complicated. We're going to go over examples and I'll show you exactly what I mean. Okay, how are we going to actually do this? You have to figure out, okay, where are they at currently? And where do I want them to go? So everybody starts off with certain beliefs that they have around whatever that problem is. Again, I'm going to show you an example. It's going to make more sense. When you're emailing them, you're going to use stories, testimonials. You're going to connect with them. Remember, you're emailing them. You are a human being. You're not a robot. So you are going to use your shared humanity to connect with them, to create a perspective shift if you need to help them understand that you have what they need and help them get closer to their goals. And you're going to do that also by including clear instruction. We take it for granted that people just know what to do. Okay. You have to assume 2 things whenever you're talking to prospective clients. And I know these 2 things sound harsh, but it's going to help you. If you internalize this and you really take it to heart, it's going to help you communicate your message so much better. And it's going to help you actually get more results. The first thing, if you were on my social media workshop from last week, you'll remember this, is nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about your business. Nobody cares about your product. Nobody cares about your service. You have to give them a reason to care. So the first thing is just assume they don't care. They don't care. Even if they're on your email list, they don't care. Your friends and family, they don't care. Nobody cares. I know I'm sounding horrible right now. I know that's like the worst thing to say, but if you just accept that kind of as a concept, okay, nobody cares. I have to give them a reason to care. That is your job as a business owner. It's going to help you tremendously. The second thing is nobody knows what to do. Okay. There are no adults in the room, right? Like everybody's looking around like, what am I supposed to do? Nobody knows. You have to tell them what to do. And it might seem super obvious to you, but it's not to them. So if you want them to click, you got to tell them, click on this button, buy this now, do this, sign up with me, follow this, reply to this, like very clear instruction, tell them what to do. That's why call to actions are very important. And every email really needs to have a call to action. Even on social media, you need to include call to actions. We take it for granted that people are just gonna, oh yeah, well, duh, they're gonna buy. Tell them to buy. Just tell them to buy. I know it seems overly simplistic, but you have to tell them what you want them to do. So let me get to the example. I think this will make more sense. Let's say that you are running a weight loss program, right? Let's say that you are a dietitian or you have a gym, something like that. Okay, and this is your area. You are a fitness expert. What you are selling is a weight loss program. So what would your potential clients be thinking right now, right? If we're going to put ourselves in their head, what are they thinking? I can't lose weight. Nothing works for me, right? These might be some beliefs that are going through their head. Well, if that's their mindset, that's kind of hard to sell to, right? If they're thinking like, well, nothing works for me. Okay, well, we have to shift that before they could potentially buy from you. So how you're going to do that is by telling stories, by testimonials, connecting with them. Okay. You could send an email that says, you know what? I myself tried every single diet, and this is the only thing that actually helped me keep the weight off. Or you could tell a story about one of your potential clients, your other clients. Look at Susie. You know, she did our program and 2 years later, she's still at her goal weight. You're going to use examples. You're going to tell stories to help them see, oh, hey, maybe I could do that too. Okay. And you're going to include the call to actions to help them get closer to what that goal is. Click here, sign up here, buy, reply, whatever. In this case, you could say, sign up for our workshop, sign up for a consultation, check out our program, buy our program. We have a limited time offer on our program. If you complete the cart transaction by the end of today, then you get an extra bonus of whatever, right? Tell them what you want them to do. If you're not sure how this works, think about infomercials. Okay, infomercials are cheesy, but they work. They 100% work. Okay, how many of us have sat there like mesmerized by an infomercial? Okay, and the reason is because they went through all of these steps all in one. Okay, they were telling you why OxiClean is so amazing, and they're telling you a little bit about the technology, and they're showing you the product, and they're showing you exactly how it works, right? In video, you're seeing it, right? The ShamWow, you're seeing it live, how it works. Even with things that are not necessarily utilitarian or like serve an obvious purpose, like the Snuggie. Nobody thought for a second, like, I need a blanket with sleeves. Like people might have thought, oh, the blanket's kind of annoying and like falls off, or like I'm cold. But nobody was like, yeah, I really need a blanket with sleeves on it, right? Nobody asked for that. Yet they created these infomercials. And I mean, it was kind of funny, right? It was like overly dramatic. I'm cold and I need to, but you know what? People bought the Snuggie. People bought it. People watched this infomercial. They sold it to you. They were like, this is why you need it. This is why it's awesome. It just makes sense. Think about it. You have sleeves. It's not going to fall off of you. You can have the blanket on you, and you can also play your video game or write or, use the remote or knit like this grandma. You can do all these different things. So it is giving you a reason to care, and it is showing you why you need that and what problem it's solving, right? So an infomercial does this naturally. If you're not sure, if you're ever stuck with email writing, watch an infomercial. It will inspire you, because you'll see the structure of how they're doing it, because it's not rocket science. All of these different infomercials, no matter what the product is, they kind of follow along the same pattern, right? There's the introduction. This is what it is. It's amazing. Look at the technology. Have you ever had this problem? Oh yeah, you can't get the stains out, but then you're able to get the stains out because there's OxiClean. Look at this product. Oh, and if you buy now, buy one, get one free, $19.99, right? We all know that. They work though. Here's another example. Let's say that you have a company that helps remove stains from floors, okay? Their current beliefs might be, my floors are ugly. I need to replace the floors. I need to get rid of the floors. I need to do something with these floors. I can't stand looking at them. I don't want to have company over because I don't want to invite people to my house because the floors look weird. I don't like it. Okay, it's a problem. You're going to tell the stories. You're going to connect to them. And so for an example, for something you could do via email, the time that my son spilled red sauce all over the floors, we thought they were going to be stained forever, but look at the before and after. Look at what happened, right? You're going to tell that relatable story about, hey, I'm afraid to have people over for the holidays because my floors just don't look good. I need to get them looking better, but I don't really know what to do about it. Okay. You're going to tell that story of how you can potentially solve for that problem. In this case, just to give you some ideas on other call to actions, it could be a buy one, get one free sale. It could be, hey, read our blog post on our tips for how to clean marble floors. Click here for clean floors, right? You can get creative with it, but you want to kind of follow this thought process when you are emailing, okay? And if you're really stuck and you're like, I don't know what to say, first of all, sign up for a meeting with me, because this is what we learn how to do in copywriting. Copywriters are the people who write the words in the ads that make you buy stuff. That's me. That is my background. That's what I've learned. I paid a lot of money and time and invested a lot to learn that. It is a skill set. It's not something that comes naturally to us. There's a lot of sales psychology that goes into that. And if you make an appointment with me and we talk about this, we can go through your actual business. We can talk about this, and I guarantee you, I will give you ideas and I will give things that are specific to your business. No two businesses are alike, but I know that every single person who is out there who potentially needs your service or your product has a conversation, even subconsciously going through their mind. And I'm really good at tapping into what that is and then giving you the words to say. So if you would like to do that, I highly recommend that you book some time. But if you want to start thinking about this for yourself, talk to your customers, okay? Ask them, what are the problems that you had before you started working with me or before you bought from me, right? What are those problems? Ask questions, get curious. Make a list of all the things that you think are pain points and problems for your customers or your potential clients, okay? And then I want you to take it a step further and list out what are the assumptions that they have. Like, I can't because everybody has that block. Well, I can't because blah, blah, blah. What is that? Because that's what you have to overcome through the emails to get over that hurdle to have them eventually buy from you, okay? You're going to also list out what it is that they want. What is it that they ultimately want? Again, not every problem is I have a hole in my head or like, oh, this is really dire consequence. It might just be, I need a dress for a vacation I'm going on. Okay. Might be something not that intense. Think of the Snuggie. Okay. Nobody was asking for that. I guarantee you in market research people were not I want a blanket with sleeves on it, right? It's just not something that people were thinking about. But think about what it is that your people would potentially want. How do they want to feel? How do they want to act? What is it that they want? The person that has the ugly floors, yeah, they want clean floors, but what they really want is to not be embarrassed when people come over and look at their ugly floors. Okay, that's what they really want. That's what we have to tap into, because people buy based on emotion. People do not buy based on logic. Even if you think you're a logical person, you're basing your decisions when you buy something emotionally. Even if you think, oh, I do all the research. No, it's an emotional decision. It's an emotional impulse for you to want to be logic and not get scammed. That's why you're doing that. You came here for an email marketing 101 thing, and you're getting a whole sales psychology, buyer psychology little side, okay? Last step on this is you're going to want to list out how your product or your service gives them what they want. This is going to make email writing so much easier for you down the line. So let's think about the lead magnet, because remember I said I want to work backwards. Okay. What is it that you're selling? So I want you to think first and foremost, like, what is it that I sell in my business? If you sell multiple products, what's the biggest revenue driver for you? Okay. What is the thing that you get the most profit off of? Because maybe you want to sell more of that. Okay. If that's not the case, and that maybe you're not e-commerce, maybe you sell services, what is it that you want to do more of? What kind of services do you want to book more of? What kind of services would you want more clients for? That's what you're going to tie your lead magnet to. Okay. You want it to be directly related to what you sell. So if you are that fitness person, maybe you have a weight loss program that you're pushing. So that weight loss program is what you are going to think about when you're creating your lead magnet. Okay, you have a signature weight loss program. It has a diet and an exercise plan. Awesome. What's the biggest problem that the customers have is this mentality of like, I can't lose weight. I don't know how to lose weight. Okay, well, what lead magnets might be tied to that concept? 5 simple swaps that help you manage calories. Okay. A 3-day meal plan that they can do, right? That's easy. 3-day meal plan. Or 7-minute workouts that don't involve squats. Okay. All of these directly relate to the diet and exercise plan, your signature weight loss program that you're selling. So when somebody signs up for the lead magnet, they don't feel like you pulled a switcheroo on them when you start talking about a weight loss program, because these things would relate to that, right? Once you have this lead magnet, and if you don't have a lead magnet, or if you have one that's not converting well, people just don't really seem to be interested in it. Again, let's talk, we can work through that. The next step is to set up a welcome series. Okay, so a welcome series is awesome. It's your best friend, because this is why we use email platforms, so that we can set up an automation and it just goes by itself and you don't have to do anything. And that's awesome, right? As a business owner, you have a bunch of stuff to do. It's great when you can get technology to do stuff for you. So the welcome series, you can set it up and it will get triggered by a specific action. Usually it's when somebody signs up to your email list. So they sign up to your email list and then boom, the email starts going out. You can set up how often you want them to go out, send the first one, wait a few days, send the second one, right? But this is a great opportunity for you, because your first email to the customer is the email that is going to have the highest open rate of all emails, because it's the first email you're sending. So if they're signing up for your lead magnet or they want the coupon code, they're going to click on that email. Do not ghost them after this. You have to create a welcome series or something where they're hearing from you again. Otherwise, out of sight, out of mind. That's it. So you don't want to lose them. So this is really important. This is a little sample of what you could do in a welcome series. Again, there's no one answer for every business. It's really going to depend on you and your specific business. A lot of times people come to me and they're like, well, in my industry, this is typical. And I said, this is what I'm doing. Okay, but if it's not working, then why are we doing it? There's no rule that says you have to do things a certain way. These are guidelines for you, but ultimately your business is unique to you, to the location that you're in, to the industry that you're in, to the time that we're living in. So we have to be able to adapt. And the only way we're going to really get to the bottom of that is like talking about your specifics. But just as a general rule, you could do a 5 email welcome series. It could be 3, it could be 2. But I gave you an example here of 5. So your first email is going to be making good on whatever it is that you promised them. So a link to the lead magnet for them to download it or access it, or the coupon code. Here you go. The second email that I would recommend is that you tell a personal story related to the pain points. Think about like in real life, when you walk up to somebody, you're not just like, buy this. No, like there's a conversation, right? You introduce yourself, you have a conversation, you give a little background. And it's not about making it about you or your business, but about showing them, hey, this is who we are. This is how we could potentially help you. This is how we started. Again, people like that relatability. They, especially from small businesses, they want to feel that there's a connection there, that there's another human there. You're not Johnson and Johnson, right? You are a small business. That means that there's an actual person on the other side of that that's running it. And there's actual people with Johnson and Johnson too, but there's a lot of them. So we want to leverage the fact that you can tell these stories to them. Third email, you could provide tips or information related to the customer's problem. So this would, you could say, hey, these are some tips on how you can keep your marble, countertops looking great or something. The fourth email, you could talk about what makes your company different. What are the unique differentiators? Why are you different from your competitors? The fifth email can be now at this point, talking a little bit about what it is that you sell. Maybe you include a testimonial or a success story. Okay. What happens after the welcome series is you should be emailing them regularly. What is regular is going to depend on you and your business. Generally speaking, 1 to 2 times per week is good, but that's not, again, a hard and fast rule. Like I just mentioned, I have clients who send 1 email a month. It's like a newsletter style thing, and they get business from that, right? It doesn't have to be a constant thing. Okay. And you want to be really mindful too with emails that you're not annoying them to the point that they unsubscribe if you're emailing them constantly, constantly, constantly. So you just want to make sure you're not ghosting them, because then what is the point of doing all that work to get them on the email list just to ignore them? Doesn't make sense. So you're going to want to think about things that you can regularly email. And now, lucky for you, we have things like AI, and there are all these tools that will help you create email content. Emails can be short. They don't have to be these long things. And they don't have to be overly complicated. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But these are just some examples of things you could potentially email: testimonials, stories, resources and tips. You can ask a question. You can say, hey, what is it that you're struggling the most with right now in this area? Okay. You could promote a special event like a workshop or a webinar, or if you're going to be at a fair or you're going to be doing something, let people know about it. You can run sales and discounts. You can promote maybe any media coverage you're getting from your business, or podcasts or articles, or, oh, we're honored we just joined this networking organization, or, whatever. Let people know what your business is up to. Okay. Some tips for writing emails. Don't write like you're a robot. Okay. People get stuck in business speak. People think that, oh, I'm a business owner, I have to be super buttoned up and professional. And you just kind of sound impersonal at that point. And that's not going to help somebody want to buy from you, right? Again, how relatable you get and the degree to the relatability is going to depend on your industry. What is it you're selling? But you want to pretend when you're writing that you're writing to one person. Okay, so think about your best customer or your best ideal customer and picture that person reading the email. That's who you're writing for. Okay. Don't get stuck thinking that it has to be really fancy. Okay, studies actually show that people will engage with a regular plain text email over the pretty ones with lots of design elements. So in most cases, you're kind of wasting your time trying to make it like super pretty and overly designed. A basic white email with black text, maybe your logo somewhere, you're good. You don't have to go crazy. The exception to this rule is if you are in e-commerce, then you probably want to put a little more effort into what the email looks like, because you're going to want to include visuals. You're going to want to include a lot of photos of what it is that you're selling. But you don't need to make it overly fancy. If you think about how people, perceive email, if they get an email from a real person, I'm not sending emails that are templated when I email Jesus. I'm just writing an email, basic. Okay. That's how you want to be too. You don't need to go crazy. And then you want to make sure that your emails are focused. Okay. One call to action, maybe two, but don't ask people to do too many things, because then they're not going to do anything. Okay. Don't inundate them with requests. Keep it to one main action. If you want them to click on a link, you can put that same link multiple times throughout the email. Remember, it's kind of similar to what we talked about with the website and the pop-ups or the signups. Give them multiple ways to access the same piece of information. You can put that link multiple times. How you do that is by hyperlinking certain words, but you want to create what we call redundancy. If you have just one link, that's just one chance for them to click on it. But if you have the link more than one place, it's all going to the same place, right? You're linking them to the same thing, but you're putting it multiple times. That helps. Okay. So just another note here is to make sure that your content actually looks good on mobile. Most people are looking at their email on their phone. So make sure that the words aren't getting cut off, that it's not going wonky on you. And the other tip that I have for you is to include a lot of white space. Nobody wants to read a gigantic chunk of a paragraph. Okay. You want to keep your quote unquote paragraphs to like 3 lines max. Okay. This is breaking the rules, what your English teacher taught you, but this is how it works these days, because if not, it just becomes too much for the eyes and people are like, I'm going to skim over this. And they're not going to read it. Focus your emails on one main message. Don't go too all over the place. And ask yourself, what do I want them to do after they read this? What's the next step? If it's not obvious in the email, make it obvious. You already know. Clear call to action. These are some amazing email writing tools. So I'm sure we're all familiar with ChatGPT, right? That's the AI that took the world by storm last year. You can use ChatGPT as your idea assistant and also as your writer. And I'm going to give you an example a little bit further down. Grammarly is awesome because it will not only check your grammar and your spelling, but it will give you suggestions of how you can make the email smoother, how you can make it flow more. Hemingway also does a little bit of the same, but it focuses mainly on clarity and on making your writing clearer, which is really cool. Subject lines. We're going to talk about subject lines. Subject line is like the first thing that people see, that's your make or break, whether they're going to click and actually read the email. So subject line is actually the most important part of your email. Okay. So subjectline.com will analyze the subject line and it'll offer you suggestions for improvement. There's another tool you can use that's called CoScheduler's Headline Analyzer. If you just Google that, CoScheduler's Headline Analyzer, okay? That's an amazing tool, not only for your email subject lines, but for your social media hooks. Let's say a blog title. If you're going to write an ad, like the first line, you want to think about it as your hook, as the headline. We want to think about traditional like newspapers, the headline is what gets you to read the rest of the information or want to know what's in it. So CoSchedule has this headline analyzer where you drop it in and it'll give you a score. So that's a really great tool. Readable will analyze how readable the text is. This is more from a design standpoint, like how easy is it to read? How easy is it to digest the information? And then Canva is a great tool because you can get email templates on there. Let's say if you're e-commerce and you want to find just an email template that you can use again and again. But they also have their AI image generator, which is actually pretty great right now. So you could generate images if you wanted to for your emails. If you're struggling to find free imagery or things like that, you can use their image generator. So how to use ChatGPT when you are writing emails. This is actually from ChatGPT because I asked the robot that is ChatGPT. I said, hey, how would you prompt yourself if you were asked to write a good email? What would you need? And this is what it said. To write a good email, I would need these 3 main things from a business owner. Okay. So if you're going to ask ChatGPT to write you an email, this is what ChatGPT wants from you. It wants to understand what's the goal of the email. So what's the purpose? What's the objective? What action do you want the recipient to take? Do you want them to click a link, sign up, purchase something? Do you notice a theme? ChatGPT is like, what's the CTA? Okay. Because ChatGPT knows. The second thing that you would need to tell it is, what is your target audience? Who are you sending this email to? Are they current customers? Are they prospects? Is it a specific segment of your list? So a segment of your list might mean a group of people that attended a workshop with you or a group of people that bought from you 6 months ago, right? You can segment your email list, or it might be people in a specific location. There are different ways for you to segment your email list. So ChatGPT just wants to know, who am I sending this to? And your core message and your call to action. What is the key message or offer? And how do you want the recipient to respond? Right? What is the strong call to action that aligns to your goal? What is it that you want them to do? Okay. So this is a little trick if you're not sure. Like if you're typing stuff into ChatGPT and you're not pleased with the results you're getting and you're like, this thing is not understanding what I want it to do, ask it, say, hey, I need you to do this for me. What do I need to give you for you to be able to do this? And it will tell you. And you can apply this to anything, not just emails, but we did emails for this presentation. Okay, I want to show you an example of a really great email. Okay, so this is Marie Forleo. Maybe you have heard of her. She is a waitress. She turned into this business advisor. She sells multiple programs. She's kind of like this online coach. She has a podcast. She has a bunch of stuff, right? So I wanted you to look at this email specifically to kind of see what it is that she's doing. Now, this might be a little more advanced, but still, she has a great subject line to begin with. This woman turned down Usher, ... Okay, why? Right? Is a natural question. So people are going to click to understand why. So she has in here, first of all, my name, personalization. Okay, consider this Emily. You can do that through your email platform pretty easily. She has a little bit of information here. This is one of her podcast episodes that she also does on YouTube. So she has a link to the actual piece of content that she wants us to watch. This is also a link. So remember I told you can put the same link multiple times. I could click here, but I could also click here and it would take me to the video. Okay. And then the email goes on. She has short bullets, right? This is about readability, short bullets telling you why you should watch. Okay. So now I know what I'm going to get out of spending time watching this episode. So Remember what I said at the beginning, nobody cares about your business. You have to give them a reason to care. She's giving us a reason to care here. Okay. She has here, again, another link to the content. So this is now the third time that she is giving me a link to the same episode. And then at the end here, she has a second call to action. It relates to a course that she is selling around time management. Okay, so this is not directly related to this episode. She put it as a PS. PS, stress takes its toll, right? How would it feel to kiss overwhelm bye-bye and actually accomplish your goals faster? I created a free quiz to help you do just that. Guess what this quiz is? This quiz is a lead magnet. When you take the quiz, it's going to take you to a page that will promote this course that she's selling. So this is an example of how you can use email to sell. This is just one example of an email. She's sending emails pretty consistently, right? On a weekly basis. But this is a really cool email structure that you could do to get people to buy. So in this section, we're going to just quickly recap. You want your prospects you want to know what the prospect's goal is. You want to figure out what it is that you have to say to change that belief. You want to align the lead magnet to what you sell. You want to have a welcome series, and you want to continue to email them after that. Okay. This is a note on subject lines. You want to make sure your subject lines are punchy. Okay. Because the subject line is the first thing that they're going to see. I would suggest, if you have trouble writing catchy subject lines, to lean into ChatGPT. Okay. You could have the best content in the world, but if the subject line isn't good, they're not going to read it. So these are kind of, an example of good subject lines. How to double your income by the end of the year. A cheese board, an airplane, and share. 3 completely unrelated things. I have no idea what this is about, but my curiosity is piqued. I want to know what this email is about. Okay. So you can do that route. 74% of people fail because of this. The fastest way to recover from muscle soreness. Does retinol work if you're over 55? Get your dream white sofa and enjoy red wine. Notice I left this one lowercase. Sometimes businesses will send emails where it looks like the title of like a book report where every single word is capitalized. Don't do that. Nobody does that in real life. Like, that's not how you send emails to a regular person. You might send it in all lowercase. You might send it more like this, where the first letter is capitalized, okay, like the H of how, but the rest is in lowercase. Don't do that thing where it's like how, capital T, to, capital D, double. Don't do that, because that's immediate a flag to a person like, this is just a business email, I can ignore it. Okay, I wanted to give you a quick example. You can screenshot this if you want. This would be a basic email structure if you are an e-commerce company. So you could say, hi, give a purpose for why you're emailing. Hey, we're excited to offer you 20% off of our newest launch. Highlight the offer and why it's compelling. Give them a reason to care. This limited bag release will transition your wardrobe from summer to fall. Use this code to apply at checkout. You include some high quality visuals, and then you give clear instructions at the bottom, right? Shop now. You can do that in a button. You can do that in a link. Go tell them where to go. This is an email structure if you are a service-based business, okay? Similar format. Hi, hello. This would be if you're an AC maintenance company, right? Ever find yourself coming home to an AC that's not working properly? Highlight the offer, tell them why they should care. Your AC might be working overtime with the current temperatures in South Florida. Make sure to get your AC regularly cleaned. We give them a little bit more detail here, what the offer is. We don't have a picture necessarily to go with this. We're going to tell them your first maintenance call will include a special discount now through October. Don't wait till it's too late. Stay cool. Book this week. Okay. Very simple. This is short, right? It's not a long email at all, but it's getting the point across. So to recap this section, we want to make sure that your subject lines stand out. We want to make sure that you're following some kind of structure. You have kind of all the elements in there, and you want to make sure you're including a call to action. So what are your next steps as a business owner? If you don't have an email provider, you don't have an email list, that's going to be the first thing. We need to work on that. After that, before you start sending emails, I think it's important that you brainstorm. What are the client's pain points? What are their beliefs? What are their desires? What is it that I need to be writing about to get them to buy? Then you're going to create your lead magnet based on that and based on what you want to sell or your coupon code. You're going to write a welcome series that you can have just running on autopilot. And then you're going to send regular emails. If all of this seems like a lot. I get that it does in the beginning, but it's something that you can easily just build into your workflow and just start doing. And the great thing with emails is that you schedule them to go out. So you don't have to be, sitting there doing them live. And you have a lot of resources and tools these days to help you write emails. And as you just saw, the emails don't have to be long, right? It's more about letting people know, hey, I'm here and I have what you need. And this is why you should care about it, right? And just doing that over and over again. And that's how you build a relationship. And that's how you eventually build people who will come to you and become clients that maybe aren't, that are just kind of on your email list, right? Because they were interested in the lead magnet. So with that, I am going to open it up for questions.
All right, Emily, I do have a few questions, okay?
Okay, ready.
With the welcome email series, do you recommend the message to come in the form of a short video instead of writing it out?
I would do both, because some people like just want to read and some people want to watch the video. So you could have the same information in two formats. You could have the video, and then you could have like almost like the captions, if you will, of what it is that you said in the bottom part, because you don't want to lose people. Like, there are times when people have a moment to watch a video. There's times people are like, I don't have time to be watching a video right now, or like I can't put it on speaker, like I'm in a public place, or I'm in the office, or whatever. They can read. That gives them two ways to get the same information.
Okay, also, I guess the first step to anything is to actually put together an overall roadmap / strategic plan for your business, correct?
Yeah, definitely. I think we need to know where it is that you want to go and then work backwards from that. Because that's going to help you stay consistent in any area of marketing and understand what you're doing. And like with anything else, you have to, change as you go and adapt. But yeah, definitely.
Is it harder to sell a service than a product? I am a special education consultant and sending emails to psychologists, speech therapists, and etc. to tell them I can add value for them to refer their clients to me.
I think it depends. I mean, with e-commerce, you have the benefit of like an actual, product, right? Like something visual that people can look at, but the same principles apply. So it's not necessarily that it's harder. Also, I'm going to just invite you to think about that question, because even if it is harder, so what? Like, are you going to switch gears and start selling stuff on Amazon? Like, you can if you want, but whether it's hard or not doesn't really matter. We just need to find whatever works for you. So it's not really about it, like hard or not. There's a way to do anything you want to do.
Should we combine regular articles or newsletters in LinkedIn with an email newsletter?
Oh, okay. I think it would depend on what your overall kind of content strategy is. I'm not sure if you're asking like if you could duplicate the content or send the content that you're putting on LinkedIn also in the email newsletter. You can. You just might have people that are on both, and then they're getting the same thing twice. I think it would depend on what your overall content strategy is, what you're doing, and we can look at that and see how it is that you want to funnel the information.
Do you think we should build our own website or hire someone to create it for us with all the bells and whistles? Not sure if I would know how to do that.
Well, these days there are website platforms that are pretty easy to use. I think it depends on ultimately what it is that you need. So at this stage of the business, what is it that you need? Do you need all the bells and whistles at this point? Can you get by without them? Like, what is the actual thing that you really need in the business first and foremost from a website? What it is that you needed to do, all of that, and then decide, do I have the capacity to actually do that, either from a time perspective or how long it's going to take me, or can I pay somebody else? I'm a fan of like, just pay somebody else to do it, because I've built multiple of my own websites. I like it. I enjoy it. And I'm pretty good at it. So that's fine. I'm willing to invest my time. But there's certain things like I don't know how to do, and it's going to take me weeks to do what somebody could do in like 2 days, so it really depends on your business, the urgency. What do you need it really soon? Can it wait? Do you want to actually learn about it? Is it valuable for you to learn about it? All of those things. If you don't have money to pay somebody, then you're out of luck. You got to do it yourself. Right? That's fine too. But these are considerations and factors that we would want to weigh.
Are you telling the story from the perspective of a customer that had a good experience, or the perspective of an owner when you write these emails?
You can do either or. You could do both. I think it's helpful if you have personal experience with whatever it is that you are selling. I think that that's valuable because that makes you more trustworthy as a business owner. Like if you, I don't know, you run an accounting firm and it's like you talk about your stories of how you worked for different, major firms before or your other jobs, and then you decided to start your own business, right? Like if you're speaking to a customer that's very similar in profile to you, then I think that makes sense if you're the business owner to tell the stories from your perspective. But you can also tell stories from the perspective of a client, right? You're just doing that kind of in third person, right? Like we helped so-and-so client with this problem, and this is how things got fixed for them, right? Because that creates more of what we call social proof. And so that's why I'm a big proponent too of like testimonials, case studies, things like that. So people don't see that it's just you constantly, right? Like there's other people that can vouch for your product or your services.
And then I could answer this question, Emily. If your business is located outside of Miami-Dade County, please send me an email and I'll be more than happy to connect you with your local SBDC, as the BizCap project is for businesses located in District 27. And then now, Emily, I have three questions for you. Should our initial lead magnet be limited to a single page, or can we use an ebook? Would the marketing messaging be different?
It depends on what you want to do. Like there's no rule. Again, like if it should be short or long, it depends on what is required for you to get the message across. So if it needs to be an ebook, it needs to be an ebook. If it can, if it's if there's only enough information to make one page, then that's a one pager. It doesn't really matter. It just depends on what it is that you're trying to do, what information you're trying to give them, and what's the best format for that. So again, it depends on your industry, it depends on your clients, it depends on what it is that they would find the most valuable. That should be dictating what that actual content looks like. Again, that's something we can talk about. If you want to set up one-on-one time with me, we can work through all of that.
Then what about WhatsApp usage? Do you recommend instead of emails?
I think any text message is also good. It depends on the nature of your business. I wouldn't say that it's a replacement for email, but if let's say you're sending emails and you're not getting much out of them, like people are not seeing them or people are not looking at them or whatever, then yeah, maybe WhatsApp is better. It depends on whatever you've already done that you've been testing out. And if you haven't done emails and you want to just do WhatsApp, see how it goes. If you're getting ignored on WhatsApp, then maybe you want to do the emails, right? A lot of marketing is kind of doing something long enough for you to get a feel for if this works or not for you specifically. But I wouldn't say one is better than the other, but you're going to have to probably keep it shorter on WhatsApp, right? That's more like just quick little, and now you're not going to write like a story necessarily on WhatsApp.
All right, so I just answered all the questions, or asked all the questions per se. But like I said, this is a recorded webinar. All participants will be receiving the presentation. But at the same time, definitely encourage you to like and subscribe our YouTube channel. So like that, it has a plethora of additional recorded resources to enhance the conversation with our business consultants as well. So once again, I want to thank you, Emily, but at the same time, I want to thank you, all the participants in today's webinar. So anything that we could do to assist you, we're a phone call and an email away. Thank you all and have a good day. Take care, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.